Well, just great win for our team. Great team win. Thought probably played our most complete game of the year, start to finish. Both offense, defense, special teams. It was just a really good team win. We started fast. Thought it was good for the offense to go down and score. And thought it was just good to settle us in. And our defense, I thought, to give up 3.5 points to an offense that I think is really talented was really special. And then for us offensively, I think just to have the balance running and throwing was big. And really proud of Kevin, how he played and bounced back, just like we kind of thought he would, but still have to go do it. And so, like I said, really good team win against a really good football team. There's a reason they were undefeated. And Pat Narduzzi's, I was just thinking this earlier today, he's been there a decade. You're a decade somewhere, you know what you're doing. He's built a great culture there and a great team. And we don't take for granted that we're able to beat a good team.
What impressed you most on the offensive side?
I don't know. That's a good question. I felt really strongly our guys were ready to play, and last night and even this morning, and then after warm-ups, I knew they were ready to play. I think probably the toughness. I think there was a lot of toughness that our offense showed tonight. I think our O-line, every one of those guys playing on the O-line is playing pretty banged up. And from J.O. to Logan Parr to Savion Bird, to PJ to Jakai, and then I know Ben gets in there and Chambly, but they're playing hurt. And that's what you do if you're O-lineman, but we talked about this game being about toughness. We pride ourselves on being a tough and disciplined and united team, and we're playing a team that prides themselves on being tough. And here we are in our 9th game. Last week was physical. We had some guys banged up. And so I think for the O-line to do that, both Brashard and LJ have been in and out of banged up. We're getting thinner at wide out. Jake wasn't able to play. RJ's out. Melo's been out. Thought Keyshawn was really tough tonight. I thought Mucci and Jordan made plays. Roger Daniels, what can you say about that guy? He's just a great football player. And then for Kevin, I thought Kevin showed a lot of toughness. So on the spot, best thing I can say is what impressed me most was their toughness.
Talk about Kevin, just the practices building up to tonight's performance and just when he bounced back after last week.
Kevin responded like we all thought he would because we know him. And, when a game like that happens, yes, every time I saw anyone all the way till this game today, I got asked about 6 turnovers and that's fair. And that means he's getting asked about it. And I get it. Until you go out and prove that what we thought was true, that he had 7 starts, 6 great ones and 1 rough one. Well, 6 to 1 is a pretty good ratio. Every quarterback has a tough start. This is what we thought, but he's got to go out and do it. And that's hard. But I thought De'Aaron King did a great job leading him through the week. It's great to have a guy that's a former player, been in that situation before. I thought he just got him ready to go, and our offensive staff did a good job getting our offense ready to go. I thought, and then he cut it loose and played. He didn't play timid. That's what you were worried about as a coach, is you're going to go out there and try not to make mistakes, because, and he didn't. The throw he made to Mucci on the 3rd and long, back shoulder, he made a couple other great throws, the touchdown throw to Brashard, the throw late to Keyshawn, even the one that got called back, he was playing free and playing aggressive, and that's what we wanted him to do.
Assuming you heard Clemson lost, what does it mean to know you guys control your destiny here on out and where you want to go?
You want the coach speak answer or the real one? No. It's kind of all the same. We still had, no matter whether someone else lost or not, we had to just keep doing it, and we still do. We got 3 games left, and we go out and don't take care of our business, and it doesn't matter. But to your point, there was no guarantees. Now there was 4 undefeated conference teams coming into this day. Now there's 2. So I don't know. Our team and our staff has done a really good job of literally being present and just working on chasing the standard that this team has set for ourselves each week. They did it tonight at a high level. The last time this happened, we went on the road and beat Louisville. It was a big win for our program, and we had 2 weeks to sit and be told how great we were before we had to go to Stanford. It's going to be no different. Now we're going to have 2 weeks to be. We'll see where we're ranked. Whatever, we know at the end of the day, to your point, we control our own destiny. And in 2 weeks, a team that's pretty good that beat us last year is coming in here. So I think it means that SMU, our program belongs at this level, and our program is capable of competing at a high level at this level, which we all believe, but it's no different than everything else I just said about Kevin. We had to go do it. We're not done, and we've not accomplished anything yet, but we put ourselves in a position that in the middle of November, we're competing for a conference championship in the ACC in our first year in the league. So I think our players and our staff deserve a ton of credit for that.
Coach, 3 years ago, y'all were 120th in the nation in rushing defense. This year, first in the ACC rushing defense. Defense dominated tonight. How has that happened in such a short amount of time?
Well, two things. One, Scott Simons, Maurice Crum, Ricky Hunley, Calvin Thibodeau, Sam Dunham, and everybody else on that defensive staff. They're special. They're really good. And I'm so thankful they're on my side. And, you know, in year one, kind of came in with what we had, went out and, you know, improved on that for year two. And last year had a championship defense. And then to take it to the level it's this year, to have the #1 rush defense in the ACC, now 10 games into the season, I think speaks volume of their ability to recruit, develop relationships, motivate, put people in position, teach them, all those things. And then the second thing is, I mean, just as equally as important, give the credit to our players. I mean, at SMU, we've been known as an offensive school. And a lot of times that doesn't come with toughness. Now, we really believe that we're a tough team on offense, but our defensive guys starting last year changed the culture of SMU football from a defensive standpoint with what they did last year and what they've done so far this year. And it all started with physicality. We have a group that believes in physicality, swarming to the ball, and a lot of that has to do with stopping the run. So our players and our defensive staff deserve all that credit, and they went out and they put the work in, because that's how life works. You don't just get anything by hoping for it. They went out, got the right young men in here to be on our team, they coached them up the right way, put them in position to be successful, and then they went out and did the hard part and did it.
How impressive is what Richard is doing, considering it just looks like he's just got to continues to feel himself off the turf and get back out there?
I mean, it looks like he's done it for a long time, doesn't it? You know, back-to-back weeks with 20 carries. Again, goes back to toughness. You know, both him and LJ at times tonight would get hit, and you know, and they have those lingering things. And now we got 2 more weeks, and hopefully that freshens them up. But man, he was tough tonight, and he's really good too.
When you have a
She is, I'm sorry.
Think with the college football playoff rankings and you know, a lot of teams
Yeah.
kind of losing and you guys going for the ACC championship, what does it mean to you that you might possibly win the ACC championship but be a team that might go to the college football playoffs?
Well, great question, and you and Chris both. We're not talking about championships right now, so I appreciate that. But Tuesday the rankings that matter come out, and don't get me wrong. We've been humbled to be ranked in the AP poll and in the coaches poll. That's a big deal for our program, and anytime, definitely in year one. But now Tuesday nights, you find out what the group whose rankings matter now the rest of the way think about you. And so, again, we're going to find out where we are Tuesday, and we know we have a lot to play for these last 3 games, but we're only going to worry about Boston College. We're going to celebrate this win, maybe since we don't play next week through Monday, and then we're going to start worrying about Boston College, because if we get ahead of ourselves, none of it will matter.
when you have a game interrupted by a potentially scary
Yeah.
injury, A, do you have any updates? And B, how do you and your staff help your team regroup and get back after it after that interruption?
Yeah, I mean, when that happens, all the other stuff doesn't matter anymore, right? Fortunately, stuff that we knew, you know, our medical team did a great job. He was conscious, he was moving early on, so that was a positive that we knew down there on the turf that maybe everyone else didn't know. Our medical staff did a great job of keeping him calm and everything. But anytime it involves your head or your neck and you're still saying you feel pain, they're going to be extra cautious. And so that's what they did. Even Pat Narduzzi was fantastic, came over to check on him. I mean, everybody in the stadium stops and just is worried about AJ. The good news, I can tell you, he was back on the sidelines at the end of the game. And I've not talked to our medical team since the game, but in the fourth quarter, they told me he was back. All the scans and everything they did at the hospital came back negative in a good way. And that, you know, again, I don't know the exact diagnosis of what happened, but I know he's going to be okay. And he was standing on the sidelines in a neck brace, and it sounds like he's going to be okay. So a scary situation is going to turn out okay.
Coach, what's the thought process of handling the last minute and a half after that injury?
Yeah, and that was to your question too. I mean, our guys were pretty shook up. They cared about him. It helped that we were able to say, look, guys, we think he's okay. I mean, our medical staff was saying, hey, we think he's okay, but we got in. But it's still hard. I thought our defensive staff, we were on defense at the time, did a really nice job of calming them down, and they did a good job of saying, okay, we know AJ's being taken care of, let's go play. It's hard to do as a player too, because I mean, he just got hurt playing the sport you're playing. And they did, they got to stop, and then we go down and get a field goal. So the kids handled it as good as you could ask.
Coach, you talked about this potentially being the most complete game your team has played all year. How much of that do you think comes from being back at home for the first time in a month and having, your fan base just not let your team take your foot off the gas?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. I think being home was a big deal, probably more than I knew. Like really, part of it is like, I don't know, are we going to be flat because we're home, we're overexcited or whatever, They were just the right amount of excited. And, but yeah, I mean, we hadn't been here since September 28th. Technically, I guess it was back-to-back sellouts, but really the last 3 times we've been here, TCU, Florida State, and now Pitt, we've come out of that tunnel for a big game and a big moment for SMU, and the place is full. And it feels full, and it sounds full, and it's a real atmosphere that can be an advantage for us and our defense and our team, and we feed off that. That's what a home field advantage does for you. And so I probably didn't put enough stock on the fact that we hadn't had it for a month. They were really excited about it. And yeah, I think it was our most complete game just because I don't think we had any lulls, really. Even in Louisville, the third quarter, we had a lull. The only lull we had tonight was when we put our backups in. And those guys competed their tail off. But I just thought it was really complete, and I think being at home had a lot to do with it.
To honor the Cotton Bowl team
Yeah.
this weekend as well, and homecoming and honoring your past players and things like that, is there kind of that extra juice as well to
Yeah.
play the right way in front of them?
Yeah, it's nostalgic in a good way for a lot of them to be back. Yeah. As a head coach, you don't get to do all that fun stuff, like homecoming and all the Letterman back and recognizing the Cotton Bowl team. You just got to go do your job and try to put the team out there ready to play. But it was really cool to do it, because that was a big game back when we beat Pitt 7-3. Dan Marino and the Pony Express and Eric Dickerson. We usually have a current player or a current staff member coach spend some time with our team. We have a little deal at the hotel on Friday nights called Brotherhood that we just go 15, 20 minutes. And last night it was Eric Dickerson made a special appearance and he spoke to our team. So stuff like that was really cool. And to see those guys in the locker room after the game fired up, to see Bryson walking out for the coin toss with his trophy, and then in the student, like all that stuff's a big deal, but it's what makes SMU special. So good to deliver in that moment.
What are your thoughts on Nick Saban's comments about Kevin Jennings?
So I didn't see it, but then I was told about it, and then I guess our media team saw it and cut it out and put it. I think he's the greatest coach to ever do it. It looks like he knows what he's talking about to me, the way Kevin played tonight. I think we're just fine, nobody talking about us. We know how good Kevin is. We don't need anybody to tell us, and neither does Kevin. It's nice to be recognized. Our team, I think our defense, doesn't get talked about enough, but I also don't care, because I'm proud of them and I'm proud of our staff. So pretty cool though for Nick Saban to say about you if you're Kevin, hey, I think this is maybe the most underrated player in the country, and then for him to go out and make him look good. So
You have to start talking about rap poison now.
do what?
You have to start talking about rap poison.
Maybe
now?
we'll see if we can find a new way to repackage it. No, we definitely got to worry about it now. There's plenty of rat poison out there for us.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that Coach did, obviously you had the opportunity to hold this year. I know the score may not truly reflect on how meaningful those snaps are, but you as a coach, you also do that differently. What does it mean to have guys like Buster, even though he was hold passes?
Even if you're not like letting them run the full offense and try to score per se, we're really just trying to get out of there. Honestly, we would have ran it every play if they would have let us. But yeah, for Kelder Buster to get in there, for Jamari and Carroll to get in there on defense, for Medlock and Booker, and I'm missing a lot of names to be out there. That's all meaningful because there's still something to, you don't know when you're going to need them, maybe this year, but definitely in the future. And every rep matters, even if it's maybe not the same intensity of a rep in the first quarter. It still knocks some some newness and rust off that'll help them down the road. So it's always good to get those guys in the game. They work hard too. So like you love that they get to be rewarded and get to play because they put in the work all week too, just like everybody else.
Coach, Pitt's defense kind of dares teams to take
Yeah.
shots against that man coverage. Took some early. Keyshawn one kind of
Yeah.
comes to mind. Could you talk about the faith that you had in Kevin and those guys to make those
Yeah.
plays?
We knew that with what Pitt does to stop the run, they give you those, and we knew we were going to have to take those shots. We thought honestly we'd probably have to take more. They ended up blitzing us and pressuring us more than they do blitz a lot, but they even blitzed us I think more than we expected. And when they blitz, they give you more of the underneath stuff. You got to get out of your hands quick. Versus when they don't, that's when you usually get your one-on-one opportunities. But whether it was Moochie making the play or Keyshawn's couple plays, that was big for us. That's kind of, to some degree, not every game, but a lot of games we haven't gotten a lot of one-on-ones with our outside receivers. And then when we have, we maybe haven't been as crisp there as we needed to be this year. And so I thought Keyshawn and Moochie and Jordan and Kevin knew going into this game, our outside receivers will have to win some one-on-ones against their corners. And I thought we probably won more than our fair share, so that was really positive for us.
Does Matthew Hibner's touchdown allow you to show people that you still have to defend the title?
Boy, I hope they're worried about him now. Yeah, we felt really good about Matthew. I think he had a good game last week, and he's shown, like I said, when we had a guy like R.J. Maryland with such a matchup problem that he got used differently, and Matt was doing a good job in the role he was in, and the ball can only go around to so many people. But when we lost R.J., that's a big loss for our offense, and it still is. We did feel really confident, though, that Matt could make plays for us. And honestly, the touchdown was a cool play. The biggest play was the one he made in the first quarter on 3rd and 7 or 8. We run a mesh, and he's the fourth option, and Kevin gets to his fourth option, hits him, and then he runs a guy over, stays on his feet to get the first down and gets us in scoring position. I thought that was a big play in the game. So, again, it just helps. We knew our depth would be important. We got a lot of guys hurt tonight. I don't know who will be available in 2 weeks. That's the way this thing goes down the stretch. The depth is really helping us, and Matt's a great example of that.
Obviously, in week 2, you guys lose a game, but I'm curious, in this new college football playoff world where winning the ACC means that you're probably in the big dance, how does that change things for you guys?
It changes a lot because last year we did everything we were supposed to do, and we didn't get into whatever we were able to get into. But it was out of our control. That's why you want to be in a league like the ACC. It's a great league, and we have an opportunity to, if every year all 17 teams know if we win our league, we're in. And we get to Charlotte, we got a chance to be in, and so that's a big deal. And because guys need to have something to play for, and that's when the season starts. That's what every kid in America is playing for, and to know that we can do it in this league is special.
Any update on Elijah Roberts or Kobe Wilson?
Last question.
Yeah, Elijah has a hand injury. I don't know the specifics of it. Optimistic that we'll get him back. Kobe, I do not have the official diagnosis. It looked like he got his bell rung, so I don't know if he's diagnosed with a concussion or not, but I think he'll, everything I know he's going to be okay. I think he was celebrating in the locker room with us, but I don't have the full download of all that yet.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.